Hello and welcome to my in-depth look at the first season of Law and Order Special Victim Unit. Now, at the time of this recording, there's only a few weeks out before the debut of the 21st season of SVU, and this got me to thinking, hey, this would be the perfect time to start that YouTube channel I always wanted to pump out a few videos and just excuse me, and just celebrate one of my favorite TV shows, and in my opinion, one of the greatest TV shows ever made. So join me as we figure out why, after over 20 years still,
TV's longest running primetime drama returns.
here is Payback.
Sex crimes?
Olivia Benson.
Elliot Stable.
Now, these two should be the first names you think of when you hear the name SVU, and with good reason, because for over a decade, these two were one of the most iconic tag teams on television. And I'm so looking forward to looking up stats and figuring out such things as exactly what their win loss record is in terms of convictions, exactly how many bodies they got, and how many people and how many deaths they witnessed. And I don't mean in terms of like autopsy or crime scene, like how many people went from alive to not alive feet away from them. And spoiler alert, there's one in this episode. Officer Brimmer quickly fills them in on
A white male, mid-30s, multiple stab wounds.
here we see our first victim of the show. Our victim has been stabbed multiple times and his penis has been cut off. Now, even though we catch the murderer at the end, the shade on their confession is so strong that this is how Kragan takes the win.
My ass. Let me ask you something, okay? I read the autopsy report.
So of course I know there's parts about this crime scene that this episode never truly give you an answer for. And for the most part I can accept that, but every time I cut on this episode and I see this taxi crash, it always makes me wonder how the hell did he cut his penis off? Like, was it cut off before or after the crash? Was the murderer in the taxi when it crashed? And exactly how did they get away, likely covered in blood, from removing somebody's penis without a vehicle, without being seen? Fuck it, I'm just gonna blame Obama.
Works for me.
Now, like they mentioned in the intro, Special Victim Unit specialize mostly with sexual-based crimes and crimes against children. So, with that in mind, you assume that there's a level of maturity to these detectives. But I kid you not, almost every time a penis is brought up in this episode, I expect a laugh track because either they're so uncomfortable with the concept of the penis or they're just so uncomfortable using the word penis.
Specific reason you called us out? Whoever did this sliced off his cigar and took it with him.
Listen to his tone and look at the way his head moves. It's just so much sassiness in his release that it's hilarious. And throughout this whole episode, it's just silly. Like, honestly, this is just one goofy ass pilot.
Is that specific enough?
After our second intro, we head to the police station where we meet the rest of the department. We have Detective Brian Cassidy, Detective John Munch, Detective Monique Jeffries, and our captain, Donald Kragan. Now, cool thing is that the Munch character and the Kragan character both predate the show Law and Order. Richard Belzer first played the character of John Munch on the NBC crime show Homicide: Life on the Street, while Dan Flora first played Captain Kragan back on the original Law and Order back in 1990. Though I haven't seen either one of these shows for real, scenes like this really make me want to check them out in the future.
I would look like a stabbing once in Baltimore. Turns out some guy who was getting divorced drank drain cleaner, and when his soon-to-be unmarried widow discovered him dead, no alimony, she stabbed him 15 times out of pique.
In the past, I would have just took this as some throwaway line or a story. But now that I know Homicide was based out of Baltimore, It really made me wish I could be on Hulu tonight, binge watching. Now it looks like we have a new quest.
Why? Some guy molesting a dead body.
Oh, that is just terrific.
And I know what everyone is asking.
Sir, if the body's dead, then is that considered a sex crime?
Don't worry, Cassidy. I got you.
This is a Class A misdemeanor. So, yeah, this is considered a sex crime in New York State, and something like the Special Victims Unit would totally have to deal with that.
Now, I hope everybody's excited because we're about to follow Stabler into our first courthouse scene. Now, the courthouse is one of the most epic part of each episode, and depending on which episode we're watching, it could be the most important one. And I'm so excited that we're already going to have our first one now. So tell me, Elliot, what's the name of our first case?
Weenie Wagger.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Weenie Wagger.
Okay, this is our first episode. No reason to go too over the top in the courthouse today. So I'm sure this is just some small little case that nobody's even talking about. What the fuck? You mean to tell me they had nothing better to take care of at the time besides somebody whipping the dick out? Well, then again, it is the Clinton years. Now, the courthouse scene used here is actually pretty genius. It's not so much 4D chess being played today like it usually is, but it's a smart way to get the Stabler character introduced to the audience. We get him under oath where he gets to talk about his motivations for joining SVU.
I do see myself as the father of 4 children. I requested the assignment because sexually based crimes are a major law enforcement problem. I think sex should be one of the best parts of life, not the worst. Well, you got me there, counselor, because he didn't flash me.
After Elliot introduced himself, he gives us our first conviction by utterly destroying Winnie Wagon. What?
I don't know his name.
Of whom I'd like exposed to Mr. Gloucester's shortcomings.
Ooh, Elliot said that nigga got small dick. Oh, that nigga said his dick so small, he pisses on his balls every time he go pee. Oh, that nigga said his dick so small, every time he touches it's considered a microtransaction.
Shortcomings.
Shortcomings?
Cummings, my ass, you butthead! Order! Yeah!
Though I'm not going to count this in Benson nor Stabler's official record, this is officially our first conviction of the show.
Shortcomings, my ass!
Now we head back to the police station where, I'm not going to lie, Stabler is way too excited about seeing a penis.
Hey, how'd it go?
Look at my dude's smile. He cannot wait to tell this story.
He's in Bellevue.
The jury came back that fast?
He waved his flag at him before they had a chance.
Once Elliot is finished reminiscing on the good old days, Benson updates us about our case.
I went down to the hack bureau. Our dead guy, Victor Spicer, he's still in Rikers.
Now it looks as though the real Victor Spicer is still locked up in jail.
Can't trust the computers. They get backed up and don't input the releases.
That's why I talked to the watch captain and had him check personally. Spicer's still there.
So as I was saying, the real Victor Spicer is still in jail, and now somebody owes the computer an apology.
Well, why is this ours? Doer sliced off the VIX unit.
Dude, your job is to work with sexual-based crimes. Sexual organs are going to be brought up. Learn the word penis. Learn the word dick. This is not a kindergarten class. We don't need to keep dancing around the word.
Sliced off his cigar and
He waved his flag at him before they had a chance.
Doer sliced off the VIX unit.
Just say the word penis.
I pulled Spicer's sheet. Prostitution, soliciting, petty theft. He also managed to get 2 of his clients arrested, both married.
After some good old-fashioned
Police work.
we get our next clue.
Ride over to Rikers and see if Mr. Spicer thinks he has any enemies.